Today on the channel, something new, something different. UFC Series 1 from Jazwares, Jorge Masvidal. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for something new, a first time around the sun unboxing and review, as today we've got Jorge Masvidal from UFC Series 1 from Jazwares. So Jazwares, we know him very well, and the reason I picked this bad boy up was Jorge Masvidal, as we know, has been in AEW. Jazwares makes the AEW figures. This is a Jazwares figure. Figure a little smoke and mirrors. I might need to put him with my AEW collection. It does technically fit a little bit, but this is technically a UFC product. It's UFC Series 1. Jorge Masvidal, the old BMF champion, especially at the time of this. An interesting one. UFC, mixed martial arts in general, you guys, I've talked about it before. Huge fan, going back to UFC 1, then going back in my tape trading days, getting the Pancrase stuff. Absolutely love the Boss Rutens, Ken Shamrocks of the world. Boss Rutan being my all-time favorite. Get me an elite Boss Rutan. Get me a Jazwares Boss Rutan. Get me legend UFC figures. That's what I need. Unfortunately, all of my favorites that I grew up really rooting for and guys that I trained with actually back in the day, have all pretty much since retired. There's a few left, but it's really hanging on. And mixed martial arts to me really did jump the shark when every weekend there was a new show, sometimes multiple shows every weekend. It was just too much content to keep up with. Too many fighters out there. The content felt diluted, and they lost me as a longtime fan. And now I read results, but I don't really watch any of it anymore. It's just kind of sad to say, as I'm a guy that sticks with stuff for a long time, but it just really did lose its way. When you don't care about the fighters, when they don't resonate with you, you really begin to lose interest, and that's the case here. I mean, the glory days for me, the Pancrase, the early UFCs, all the way up to like mid-2000s UFCs, and then of course Pride, if you guys remember Pride, absolutely phenomenal. And this isn't our first go around with mixed martial arts figures. You know, we've had a few technically in the elite line, if you want to count Ken Shamrock, you want to count Brock Lesnar, of course, you want to count Matt Riddle, shirt here, and then of course Jax back in the day giving us, you know, Ken Shamrock figures and stuff like that, but also deluxe aggression style figures in the Jax line for UFC, Kmart exclusive, Pride sublines. So we've had some UFC figures, we've had statues, things like that, but I gotta think these are probably about the best. All that being said, giving up the long-winded speech here, these UFC figures I don't think are performing very well. I was on some travels for work. I came across this at a local Target. Caught me at a weak moment, picked this up. But I can tell you the 12 Targets I travel in where I live that I hit on a regular basis, they've never had a UFC figure on the pegs. You go to a place like Ringside Collectibles, they have these. They are very much clearanced out. You know, you can use discount code Kyle, save 10%. But these things are pretty cheap now. I gotta think the line is probably ending. We haven't really heard anything about a Series 2, or at least I haven't. So I think UFC just didn't hit where it wanted to be hit. I don't think a lot of kids are playing UFC, and there's probably a small segment of adults that actually love UFC, that actually want action figures on their desk, something like that. So great idea, just unfortunately doesn't look like it's going to happen. As I said, I would have loved to have a legend set. Give me the Don Frys, the Ken Shamrocks, the Hoist Gracies, Matt Hughes. Give me, you know, Brock Lesnar. I mean, whoever you can get me from my heyday of watching. Give me old Twinkle Toes Frank Mir. Give me some of the greats. But yeah, not going to happen. But Jorge Masvidal, he's going to happen right here at the table today, and we're going to do it like we do all the other unboxings on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. So I do like the package a whole lot on here. Big UFC logo there, big UFC logo up top. Beautiful glamour shot, Jorge Masvidal. Get extra hands with him, an extra head, of course, and then his old BMF title. Kind of like the FTW title is what it is akin to, I guess, for the UFC. So that's always interesting. But the extra heads, I like it a lot. I believe he does have a chase version as well. Doesn't come with the title belt. Comes with some different stuff. So yeah, if you're into that kind of stuff, you can find that. And the chases are really not very expensive, just like the figures, as they just, I don't think they've been resonating with the audience that they want to purchase these. On the side, you got old Jorge looking mean mugging. You got to be a mean mugger in UFC. You got to be. You got to be. On the side there, Jorge Masvidal, UFC logo. On the back, little glamour shot there. What is that, Nick Diaz? Oh, no, not Nick. Nate Diaz. Oh, it's Nate Diaz. They're throwing down. You got the rest of Series 1 right here. Who do we got here? Conor McGregor. That was really the decline for me. I know people love McGregor. It wasn't for me. Jorge Masvidal, Francis Ngannou, big star nowadays. Uriah Faber, there's a legend from my heyday time. I'm about the same age as Uriah Faber. Amanda Nunes, of course, and Israel Adesanya. Now, he is a champion, and I don't even know who that is. So that tells you what's going on with old Kyle these days. Jorge Masvidal, Series 1. UFC 244, 11/2/2019, New York City. Masvidal versus Diaz. And it shows some of the strikes and stuff like that. And let's say winner Masvidal, round 3, time 5 minutes. So I like that. It represents this. I think that's a good enough. Very similar to the AEW Jazwares kind of, where it says here's the event this was supposed to take place at. So I'm okay with that. That's all right. But anyways, without any further ado, let's get this out of the package. Let's see what's going on. Nice cage background there, so you can see that going on. See you later. Whoa, there it goes. All right, little plastic prison. He looks a little dead in his eyes. He looks like he's dead. I don't know. He's just got a faraway look going on in those eyes. But we'll see. We're going to get it out here. And like I said, my plan for this is I'm going to put him on my AEW shelf. As you know, he was part of the America Top Team. See you later. All right, what do we got here? I tell you what. Holy cow, I got him out of the package, and this feels amazing. This feels better than your AEW Jazwares figures. Very much similar style. Very similar. Listen to that. Ratchet joints. Very tough joints on this. But holy cow, these elbow joints. These are the elbows we want on our AEW Jazwares figures. What are we doing, Jazwares? Just take the technology you're using on these UFC figures, bring it over to the AEW figures. These are, I mean, they're still a little loose, but man, they feel better. They feel sturdier than the wrestling figures. There's got to be a way to get those wrestling figure elbows sturdy on a consistent basis. These feel way sturdier. So I like that already. This just feels like he's a smaller guy. He's 170 pounds. He's just a little guy. He's a little guy. But he packs a big punch, and we all know that. But this feels very sturdy. This is surprisingly better than expected, and this feels better than an AEW Unrivaled figure. This does. I got to be honest. I got to pull it out and say that. Now, yep, so just like that, you can mix and match your parts just like you can with the AEW figures. So, you know, customizer's dream right here. You can mix some of these UFC parts into your AEW figures, especially since these are on clearance. You can do some of that. You got all the typical articulation here. You got double jointed elbows, bicep swivel, of course, the arms up, down, all around. Not quite butterfly, but almost close. You do got a little extras that just cut out there for a little bit more mobility. Easy for me to say. Head easily removable, of course, just like that. Pop in and out. Hands removable. You do got the forearm. Let's see, these little gauntlets. Those are stuck on. Those do not come off like your typical elites would, stuff like that. You do get 2 fists. Always got to have fists, especially with a UFC fighter. You got to have fists. And Masvidal has fists, so you got to put those in. Wow, I love it. UFC on the gloves, of course. Masvidal, UFC on the trunks. He does have a bare feet mold here, so he's got bare feet, as they would. His shoes are no longer allowed in the UFC from way back in the day. You got to go to Pride for those. UFC logo on the side as well. Absolutely fabulous. Masvidal, he looks a little dead inside in his eyes. He's got a kind of dark, faraway look going on. Good look on the beard here. He's got his hair up in a man bun. Man bun's all the rage these days. This extra head, same thing, but he's got the cornrows going on. Never been a cornrow guy. Uriah Faber used to do it all the time back in the day. I always thought he looked goofy. I'm definitely not using this head. This head is much better. But this will go good on my AEW shelf. We got feet. Let's see. Does he fit on a stand? We know the AEW figures never would. Are you kidding me? He fits on a stand? What are we doing? What are we doing, Jazwares? I'm calling you guys out. Why do your UFC figures fit on a ringside collectible stand, but your wrestling figures do not? What is going on here? What is this bizarro world we're living in? What are you doing to all us? We all need stands. We need them like yesterday or like a year ago or maybe a year and a half ago. And it just boggles my mind that these UFC figures fit on a stand. It boggles my mind that the joints feel a lot tighter and tougher on these UFC figures. It's the same company. I'm sure it's a different department and stuff, but just doesn't make sense to me how this fits on a ringside stand. I just don't get it. I'm totally lost here. I'm totally lost here, but I like this. I can't believe I like this as much as I do. It feels tremendous. It feels like it's a solid figure. It's not going to break in a kid's hand immediately. It fits on a ringside stand. Got interchangeable hands. He does have tattoos. He's got his forearm tattoo. He's got his neck tattoo. It's a bold move getting a neck tattoo. You gotta really know what you're doing if you're getting your face and neck tattooed. I can tell you as a businessman, you got to know what you're up to when you're doing that. He's got the BMF title here, a little bit generic, but pretty cool. You could use this with something else. I'll obviously use it with him, but it's always cool to get another title belt. You could use this in your Fig Fed if you're a kid playing. Have this as just another title for you. So I do like that as well. Man, this is solid. This really does blow away my expectations. It is a little disappointing, or a lot disappointing, that my gut tells me we're not getting any more UFC figures. We'll see. Maybe I've been shocked before, but it just doesn't feel that way. And I would love to get Legends line. I'd love to get the Boss Rutens, like I said, the Frank Mears, and some of the other legends throughout the years. Hoist Gracie. Give me Tank Abbott. Give me, Forrest Griffin. Give me Stephan Bonner. Give me Wanderlei Silva. Give me so many. I could go on for. Give me the old school Rickson Gracie. Give me that one. That doesn't look like it has to be. But I think a Legends line might sell better than a current line. Quite possibly. But how about some comparison times? We got to compare him to a little AEW figure, huh? How about there he is next to old Kenny Omega. As they scale, they're in the same universe. Now let's see. How easy do these heads swap? Oh, yeah, I think you might have to heat it up. It's not quite there for Kenny Omega, unfortunately. It's just a little bit small, but I think if you heated the head up just a hair, it would fit perfectly. So you got Kenny Omega here for kind of a size difference. If you want to have your UFC AEW crossover, you can do it if you want to. Of course, Mattel Elites, got old Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle I've talked about before. I got a shirt on today, coincidentally. Matt Riddle, I followed back when he was in mixed martial arts, so I did get to watch his journey from mixed martial arts. Really enjoyed him there. Just his personality, of course, all the way into where he is now. So that is pretty cool. That's why he is one of my favorites. Of course, Brock Lesnar. A dominating machine, a draw, wherever he goes, it seems like Brock Lesnar. And I remember back in Kyle's big-time days of, heavy lifting, or mixed martial arts training, stuff like that. I was about 260 pounds, 6'1". I was a pretty big dude. I was putting up a lot of weight. It was just great times. Great times when I had plenty of time to be in the gym 2 or 3 times a day. Those were the glory days. No wife, no kids, none of that going on. But I remember seeing Brock Lesnar at the Hall of Fame one time, and I wish I could find the picture, but he stood in front of me, and I was totally engulfed. Like the sun blocked me out, and this is Kyle at his biggest. Brock totally dwarfed me. You couldn't even see me behind him. So that was just absolutely crazy times. Brock Lesnar right there. And then you got to throw it back to the old school, the old Jax, Don Fry, the old Predator, an all-time great mixed martial arts legend, all-time great personality legend. Absolutely love me some Don Fry. So you get a little comparison of actual UFC figures from the Jax lineup days to the AEW days. But man, I didn't know where this review was going. I thought this would be just kind of a one and done, it is what it is kind of pickup. But I like this figure so much. I'm thinking I will probably pick up the Uriah Faber because I do have a connection to Uriah Faber. That's how much I like this figure, where I was like, I don't need these. But I think I'm going to pick up the Uriah Faber. I'm going to have to look around, poke around, maybe ringside or somebody still has him for sale. We'll see. But Jorge Masvidal, for your AEW collection, I think it's a must-have. Maybe not everybody's thought that process through, but I would recommend picking this one up. So an interesting video here, just very interesting. AEW Jazwares, UFC Jazwares. How do we get a little bit more in between? Can we get stands that work for these AEW figures? You already got them for these. How do we make that happen? That needs to be addressed, and I hope something's figured out very, very soon on that, because we need to get these figures standing up correctly without worrying about them falling over. So there it is. Your guys' thoughts on this UFC figure, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Feel free to share the video. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at SirPaul64 on Twitter, of course. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. So for the UFC, the whole UFC, Dana White included, I am Kyle. I will see you guys all real soon.